So Roberts goes over here to Intel.
Okay, so yeah, he went over to Intel, and they were making 8080s, and he wrangled a deal. All of them weren't coming out quite right, and so he got a deal with them to take all of their rejects, which were just fine for what he wanted,
Huh.
and so they didn't have to throw them away.
Right.
That's why they picked the 8080 to put in the Altair. So design-wise of the chips themselves, was not really into that. We did a lot of design with the discrete components, because that I got into that at McDonnell Douglas, because we didn't have integrated circuits like they do now, which was pretty funny at the time. Some of the stories I have on that are pathetic.
So these 8080s, they're not good enough for Intel, but they were good enough for MITS. Were they a functioning chip, or did you have to doctor around them?
No, they were functioning chips. I don't know if what they were trying to achieve with that above computing efforts. And of course, that's all they did. They were CPU. And for whatever reasons, Intel did not want to sell them. You laugh.
Ed was a convincing guy then.
Evidently.
Did you ever... Okay, so the West Coast computer fair shows, the hobby groups.
Yes.
That's what got MITS on the books, really, is the explosion there.
Yes. One of the things that the hotel there by the airport, which I think was a Wyndham then, I forget. They had a show there for the MITS products, and that was the first one. And they were signing up for MITS computer stores and showing the products and a lot of the things you could do with it now, since you didn't have 32 switches to screw around with. You could do a turnkey and it would boot itself up. And then they got to the keyboard. They still didn't have a mouse then. It was very rudimentary. And I can remember the big thing on the 32 switches, why toggle when you can turnkey? Was the phrase that they used. And they had a whole pot full of people there. And that kicked that off. And then Currie and a couple of others bought a GMC motorhome and put in a computer station, and they drove that sucker around the United States. And I wish I had it now. Those were great RVs.
You had all the different stories of how, example, Gates got arrested out here. You know nothing about that, but are there other situations in the industry at the time that you know the truth on, but out there now the documentaries are saying otherwise?
Well, I don't keep up with the documentaries, but there's two that come to mind that have not been documented. Only I and a few others know. In the beginning, those were kits. And we'd send them out, a box of parts and a soldering iron.
Included in the kit?
Yeah.
Okay.
25 water. And so one day I get this call. these damn boards aren't worth the powder to blow to hell. I don't know what you guys are putting out. Hey, slow down. Send it to me. I'll take a look at it and see what your problem is. That's all. Just COD. We'll fix it. We'll get it fixed. About a day later, I'd get this box wrapped in almost duct tape, and I open it up, and here's this board, 2K I think it was, that they had, and it was about the color of that chair there, just cremated, and I looked at that, and just amazing. There are the components in there and everything. I called the guy back. I said, well, what in the world did you do here? Well, I put all the components in, and I tried to solder and didn't solder, so I got my blowtorch.
Oh, man.
So we got this board back.
Smoked.
That was unbelievable. I took it into Eddie Currie, and I said, here, we're putting out a terrible product, so you need to check your quality control. So we got a big laugh out of that.
Wow.
I shouldn't tell this other one. I can't do that.
Okay.
It had to do with something, a very distraught employee and Ed Robert's coffee cup. So I'm...
Uh-oh. Yeah.
That I may tell you that off the record.
So outside of MITS, did you use computer yourself?
I was computer illiterate.
Wow.
Okay. I've always been mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
I can make them. I can lay them out. I can do just about anything you want. I never learned how to type. I had to teach myself how to type.
Oh, wow.
And my thought was, hey, this is a pretty neat thing, and I can make these neat cabinets, and I can do this, and I can fabricate that, and design this and that. But what in the hell are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
You know, and I was really focused on that. The thing that turned the computer industry on its ear was the first killer app. And that's what they called it, killer app. And that was a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And once they did that, oh, this might work pretty good.
Yeah. What else can we use it for?
Yeah, so I had to teach myself how to type, and then when I was using them later, they had, and I was thinking about it the other day, where you had to type in the code to bring the thing up. What's the word?
The DOS commands?
DOS commands, yeah DOS. Yeah.
Type your drive letter, switch over to it,
absolutely.
pull your directories, execute the program.
And I got pretty good at that.
And then when you're in WordPerfect, you got to do your codes for all your formatting and.
Yes. And I finally got rid of my WordPerfect.
And what did you enjoy most about your time there?
I enjoyed the people. Very creative, very focused. A lot of them were really off the wall. They knew how to party. I fit right in. The challenge, because it was like the Saturn V. We'd never done that
Yeah,
before.
it's unexplored territory.
Yeah, I loved it.
And the least favorite?
Dealing with people. I was...
Consumer people, or?
No. I was management.
Okay.
and a lot of people are not attuned to getting the job done. You know, this is the place of manana. Not to, that's very PC incorrect. So
it's a New Mexico credo.
throw me in the briar patch. I really don't give a rat's rear end. I think that would, and of course closing the, just boom, cutting it off. That, I don't like to hurt people like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was not good. But I think the people, I made some really good personal friends there, some very good work friends there, and if I would do it again, I would do it again.
It was a fun, interesting time.
Yes, that whole era.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, look at what was happening.
It's like you said, though.
Space programs.
Unexplored in all areas.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for that first killer app, you know, they'd still be toggling the switches.
A while ago, you were looking for it ever since, a certain magazine.
Yes.
That was hand-delivered to you. I believe is what was you said, the editor.
Yes. Yeah.
Was that a surprise for the editor of this magazine to come in and deliver their first issue to you?
No. We just, you know, we were all just
small beans then.
Yeah, buddies, and yeah, that was.
You remember his name?
I'm just sitting here. That was.
You remember the magazine though?
Dave Bunnell, and he was the editor. We also had a publishing company that was publishing all of these software things that you had to do to boot this thing up, and it was in the magazine. That was the First Byte magazine, and it had an article in there about the Altair 300, which was the desk model of the 8080, and they had a hard drive in it that had 1 megabyte.
Wow.
And the thing, I had to get heavy-duty casters, rollers, to put the thing in there.
What year were we?
Oh, Lordy. Late 70s, early 80s, somewhere along there.
Yeah, you would have been, yeah.
Who made the thing? Digital. And in order to pull the thing out, you had to stop it. You had to lock the head down, and then you could pull it out. And the thing weighed probably 200, 300 pounds. It was a big disc about like that.
The original head parking.
Yes. That was one of the gals that was with Dave Bunnell at Byte. Became really good friends with Paul. And she went out there to Seattle, and he just put her up in his house, and he said, well, you know, here's my cars, just drive them. And she thought, well, okay, here's a Mercedes, here's a Beamer, here's a Pickett Ferrari, here's a...
Yeah.
And over in the corner is this 1973 Dodge something. And she thought, well, oh my God, you know, I don't want to drive these expensive cars. I'll just take that old car. Oh no. That was my dad's car, and I'd keep it there. So he wouldn't let her drive it.
Oh, wow.
So...
That's a fun one.
So she, I don't know what she drove, but she lives down the road here. I see her every
Out
once.
here?
Yeah, I see her every once in a while, but that's about all I do.
And she was with Byte?
Yes.
Where were they?
That was the company.
No, where were they based?
Byte?
Yeah.
Right there in the MITS complex.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not even know that.
They had the front of the place. You can drive by it. It's on Alamo, and I don't know what's there now. I'd have to show you. But they had the front office, and then they had the bean counters, and then they had the engineering and the drafting,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the back, they had the line of girls putting these things together, the manufacturing,
Mm-hmm.
and then behind that was shipping and receiving, and then in the front, on the other side over here in that building, was Bike Magazine, and they had 3 illustrators and tech writers, and it was about 7 people.
Wow.
At the time, and I think Dave was doing most of the tech writing and stuff like that.
From Paul Hayton in New Zealand, everyone knows him as Avon in the bulletin board world. He's a huge contributor, but his few of his questions. One of them would be, with what you know now, would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, I'd have bought more stock. I'd have bought a hell of a lot of stock in Microsoft. You'd have to call me Mr. Spencer.
Would you still be living here?
Probably.
Oh, okay. It says something about New Mexico.
I'm not a very gregarious liver, let's put it that way.
His other one is, did you foresee a huge interest in what you were working on? You kind of answered that when you said you could build it, you could design it, but you didn't see what it would be used for.
Yeah. And it was in the beginning.
Right.
And like I said, the first couple of weeks, they'd trickle in some things that, it was, hey, look, this might be slick to play with or something. But after that thing went out in Popular Science, it just went nuts. And yeah, I can see where somebody that wants to sit in their garage with their little hat on, soldering crap together, that's not my forte. Now I can run a Bridgeport and a lathe and have a really good time and design it, but...
Did Ed Roberts expect it to go off like that?
No.
Not at all, huh?
No.
Wow. Just thought it would be the quiet hobbyist kit.
That was sort of his genre to begin with. Remember, MITS.
Mm-hmm.
He was making stuff for model rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You can see what's going to happen. You put this stuff in the rocket and it'll tell you how far it goes up. Da, 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 da. You got a box of parts that you can shift around. Fine, put it together. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that sort of answers that, I guess.
Another question he has is, did the project take the direction you and the team envisioned, or did it head down another path unforeseen?
Both. We envisioned that this would really morph into something really big.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we wanted it to do. The unseen part of that was in the business world that competition with Triumph Adler, they didn't want that. And that's why they bought the company, because they were afraid that they were going to take over the American market.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to get their machine into that market, and also into the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were focusing on. So that's what our vision was. We were not as deeply involved with the nuts and bolts bean counting to really realize what was happening at the time. because we thought this would blossom into something. But it didn't.
You got MITS, you got Byte, you got Microsoft. Who else was out here starting up?
That was it.
Wow.
That was it.
3 big key players for the time, though.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm.
In the middle of a desert, in the middle of nowhere.
Ed and Eddie Currie, Ed Currie, and Bill Yates were all Air Force buddies.
Okay.
And they worked over there at the Naval Weapons.
That's our common denominator of what
Yeah.
brought them here, though.
Yeah,
Air Force.
They tested weapons over there.
Okay.
And so evidently they all got out at the same time, and they were all into model rockets.
Great place to do it.
Yeah, you're not going to burn down a hell of a lot, and that's just the way it was.
Wow. Crazy.
And I, after doing with Saturn, and then I had my own business and a few other things, I'd gotten pretty tired of doing black projects, and so all I wanted was something that paid for the damn place.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this ad, and I thought, well, that's good as any. I can be some flunky.
That changed.
Oh man, did it. So.
Well, cool.
All right.
That's all
well,
I
I hope that helps you.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah, it's.
I think you're doing a wonderful thing. That this legacy history of some of these companies and things that happen. That down the road, somebody's
like any history, you got the bits and pieces that get polished, I'll say,
yes.
as you go down the road. But to find someone that was there and living it is, it's worth a lot.
Getting back to the PC boards, they didn't have, of course, programs that put it together.
Right.
You did that with black, or with black little stickers of ICs
Mm-hmm.
and capacitors and things, and round dots. You've seen those.
Yeah.
And blue and red tape, and that's how you built a circuit.
That's crazy.
And we used light boards,
Mm-hmm.
and that was state of the art, baby.